JT. JT in Missouri. What can we do for you?
Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Hey, not too bad. Pretty good.
First of all, if there's like breathing, I'm sorry, I've been fighting off a cold, but, I was raised as a Pentecostal. My grandfather actually started a Pentecostal church in our little tiny town.
Mm-hmm.
And then my father took over as the preacher of that church. And then I took over at the age of 19.
And into the family business. All right.
Pretty much, yeah. And then after that, about 21 years old, I started to doubt my beliefs. So that's about 2 years. And I have now been a atheist for about 5 years. I'm 26 now. Little estimation there, but I mean about 4 or 5 years, 4.5 to 5 years. I've been an atheist, and I've actually come to like the atheist experience. This show, I just started watching this show a couple weeks ago, and was really nervous to call in. But we were very adamant about preaching against homosexuality, anything that had to do with the LGBT, anything like that. And, I mean, I am a homosexual. I have been gay, obviously, my entire life. And, you know, you're told that people can pray this away. Well, spoiler alert, I tried. Did not work.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear like the success story that holds up for more than like 6 months.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Because I've definitely heard some like conversion, like effective conversion therapy stories, and then 6 months later you find out, no, okay, apparently, nope, still gay. Might be.
Exactly, yeah. And so I finally I started seeing through all of that, and like I left the church. My dad actually preaches again, and we have a great relationship still. Like my entire family, we all still have a great relationship. They obviously disapprove of my life choices and my lifestyle. However, we do still have a wonderful relationship. You know, we don't really talk about it or anything like that. But my biggest question here is, I know hell is not real. I know that none of this is real. But it seems like the farther I got into the relationship with my current boyfriend, I would have nightmares and wake up in cold sweats, vivid dreams of hell and being tortured. And it's gotten better, but we're still there. I still kind of have those nightmares. And he's been with me through it all. He understands completely. My question here is basically, how would I go about getting through this?
Yeah, you know, maybe it's the therapist in me, but what I hear when you explain that is a lot of death anxiety. You know, just a lot of sort of free-floating concern about the existential crisis of existence. The reality that you are alive now and won't be in the future is sort of a scary thing that we all have to cope with in one way or another. And religion helps us cope with that by telling us, hey, you don't have to solve this problem because it's not a real problem. Right. You know, there's no such thing as death, because after death, everything is actually way greater, way more awesomer.
Or way worse.
Or way worse, but like you wouldn't be one of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So religion is a really handy solution to a really big problem that we all have. It's a shame that it didn't work out, that it's not actually real, because heaven would be awesome, apparently, if it was a real thing. But the reality is it's not. And so, you know, I would suggest that this may be a lot of just misplaced reality surrounding your mortality, and exploring that a little bit, acknowledging to yourself, okay, this is how old I am. This is what's happening to me. This is the reality of what I'm going to experience in the future. Now, that's not an easy thing to do, and it's something that, you know, I might encourage you to explore with a therapist. That certainly may not be the nature of what you're experiencing, so I really don't mean to come in with that sort of label. but that's definitely what it looks like. And I think that this is something that's probably not going to go away quickly. And I want to just reassure you that that's okay. That you're able to still have a beautiful and productive life as you're sort of sorting through these feelings. But rather than giving you a bunch of recommendations about how to combat nightmares or, which multivitamins are best for making sure you fall asleep quickly or these types of things, and those solutions might be effective. Looking into your sleep hygiene, for instance, and thinking about ways to avoid nightmares can be a valuable step. But myself, having gone through something pretty similar, I found that it's really important to actually acknowledge that anxiety and to kind of dispel it by paying a little bit of attention to it. And so I'd strongly recommend talking that over with somebody maybe from the Secular Therapist Project, somebody who can kind of walk you through that process. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to just absolutely reiterate the suggestion of therapy, of getting with a therapist on some sort of regular basis, whether that be in person in your home, or in an office, or through through an online source, or a distant source like the Secular
Therapy Project and Recovering from Religion is an incredible resource that we certainly recommend. But beyond that, if they don't have a clinician in your area, psychologytoday.com or .org, I believe, is probably the best first place to stop. But
yeah, I want to shy away from an armchair diagnosis, for sure. But I want to point out that being gay or any sort of thing that you grow up being told is evil and being told very firmly and consistently is evil and sinful and bad is directly against the will of the almighty good creator of everything. Having that as a part of you for years can be literal trauma.
So it's a heavy burden to carry.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's something that can, have lasting effects on your mind. Whether you've abandoned the religion or not, it's still in there, and you can't just drop it. You can't just get rid of it. You've got to work on better self-understanding and better, just ways of caring for yourself that can help you with that. Because it's a big deal. It is not a small thing. You can't just say, oh, well, none of that is real anyway. So whatever, it's fine. It's not fine.
It's not a movie where you get to the end and find out it was all a dream sequence.
Right.
This is something that you are going to carry with you for a long time.
This is real things that really happened to you and had real effects that are serious. And so I want to make sure that to take it seriously and that it's a thing that was imposed upon you, not something that's inherent to you. That's what I got.
Right, yeah. And it has gotten tremendously better. When I first got into my relationship, it was absolutely awful. I would wake up in the middle of the night, cold sweats, but now it's like the occasional nightmare. But yeah, I have heard about the Secular Therapy Project, and I will have to actually take a look at that.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope that you will. But I again just want to kind of validate that regardless of where these feelings are coming from, that it is just part of the trauma that you're carrying. And I don't mean to make light of that by, saying, hey, it's fine, it's okay. But I hope that, kind of as we were talking just before, that you are able to accept that this is part of your journey, part of your experience. And as much as you want to change it, as much as you want to get rid of that, and as much as we would hope to empower you to do so, it's also okay to just acknowledge that this is something that happened to you, something that happened to you for basically your entire life and is still happening to you. And so it's going to leave its mark, and that's all right. You know, you've made it this far. You've overcome a lot. I can't imagine the amount of pressure that was on you to, you know, to follow in your father's footsteps, to hold up the family tradition, to be the person that God wanted you to be the person that your family wanted to be. Ignoring all of that to be yourself is incredible. That's an absolutely remarkable thing. So without knowing all the details of your story, I'm really confident that as difficult as some of these struggles are and are going to be, it sounds like you've very much gotten past the worst of it and that you're on your way to a really beautiful life. And so even if there's some uncomfortable or difficult aspects of it, I feel confident about the direction you're headed.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And best of luck, because like we said, this is definitely not easy material. So I hope that it goes well for you, and I thank you so much for calling us tonight.
All right. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye.